Paul, skipped by Megan Walter, sponsored by E&B Farms. On sheet B, sponsored by Precision Toyota from East St. Paul, the Tracy Fleury team. Their opponents from Assiniboine Memorial, sponsored by Bailey Farms, the Caitlin Jones Abby Ackland foursome. And on sheet C from Assiniboine Memorial, Christy Watling and her Carberry Auto Body team playing the Carberry Elks number 466 team, Shay Bevan and her St. Patel foursome. Ladies, good luck with curling. The games are in the hand of the
Sorry for some technical difficulties with the announcing booth. It is Rob Gordon back at the Carberry Plains Community Center, bringing some Scotties action to you live with Team Caitlin Jones versus Team Tracy Fleury. To be truthful with you, I probably just spoke too much during the last draw that I just needed a few rocks off. But it seems like we are good to go now with Team Jones second, Robin Negevin, throwing her first stone of the end. Team Fleury won the draw the button with a draw to just outside the back of the button. Team Caitlin Jones went top 8 foot, so as you'll see, Team Tracy Fleury starts the game with hammer. It is just myself in the booth for this 4 o'clock draw, so you don't have to worry about hearing Dave Turnbull talk. I'm sure everyone's thankful about that. But in all honesty, he did a great job at the 12-15 draw, so I'm feeling a little bit lonely up here. But I'm sure the action on the ice will keep everyone entertained as Liz Fife delivers her first stone.
Clean. Close, yep. High.
Team Tracy Fleury curling out of the East St. Paul Curling Club, while Team Caitlin Jones calls the Assiniboine Memorial their home club. Relatively open end so far. Team Jones in a good position to force Team Fleury if they can make this hit and lie two. Still really early in the end, obviously. There will be opportunities for doubles and hit and rolls. You'll see Liz Fife asked to take on the hit and roll under the corner guard, try and utilize that side of the sheet. And she'll end up right on the nose. So Team Jones is looking to roll towards the center line. If they nose this rock, Team Fleury will probably have about a half rock double back. So Team Jones wants to roll this towards the center line to make that angle steeper. And we have the skip of the team, Abby Acklin, calling the game. She's throwing third stones, while Caitlin Jones switches positions with her to hold the broom and call the line. This is a relatively new change for the team. They made the change during last week's Bonspiel at the Morris Curling Club, the DeKalb Superspiel. It seems to have worked so far. And so she'll hit that on the nose. So Tracy can either play the hit and roll again or can try the double. The double looks pretty difficult. The rocks are spaced out by a significant amount. So she'll ask Selena Negevin to hit and roll. And you may have noticed we have a Selena Negevin on Team Tracy Fleury and a Robin Negevin on Team Caitlin Jones. No, they are not sisters. However, they are sister-in-laws. Married to, of course, the great Connor Negevin. Manitoba, everyone in Manitoba knows Connor Negevin. Unfortunate for the two of them to be related to him.
10-4.
As Selena hits the nose. Interesting selection here to change turns and throw into the rock. And as I say that, they switch turns back. Abby Acklin looking to hit and stick somewhere in the rings. Right on the nose. Good shot there. No double, so Selena will be once again asked to hit and roll behind the corner guard. This one hanging out a little bit. They'll get Kristen McCush to try and curl it over.
Tricky.
And it won't curl enough, so hit and roll out. Leaves Team Jones an open draw to the rings. This is a interesting call as they are electing to overcurl the center line, I believe was indicated, and end up in the 4-foot on the opposite side, closer to their red. Sort of grouping the two rocks, it could lead to a potential double for Team Fleury, if not put in the correct spot. My first initial reaction was to maybe draw the 4-foot on the opposite side of the center line to have some separation, but make the hit and roll behind the corner very difficult. Because where this rock is going to come to rest, it appears will leave Tracy Fleury nose hit double to get out of the end and potentially set herself up for a blank. As she does not listen to what I was saying and chooses to draw. She knows better than I, so they are electing to play the freeze.
Okay, right down to it. That was a 14-3.
Tracy,
so I think
as
she's sliding pretty good.
we've seen in numerous games that have been televised this year, she is a phenomenal drawer, so this shot doesn't come as too much of a surprise, and maybe she's thinking if she makes a good freeze in here, they could get a kind of a cheap deuce out of nowhere. So Tracy Fleury trying to draw down to the Team Jones rock.
Line's good.
And this is the side of the sheet that she played her draw the button on, so she'll know it well.
Needs to curl. You got to switch, Kristen. As far as you can. As
The
far as you
sweepers are
can.
working hard on this one. Needs to go for
Yep, keep it
weight,
going.
and they're trying to curl it
Keep
over for
going,
line,
keep going. Yep,
as
yep,
it was
yep,
just
yep,
hanging
yep,
out there a
yep.
bit.
Okay.
And it'll
Good
come up
sweep.
just short, leaving
Sorry.
Team Jones lying 1 and also lying third shot. So they have a hit to lie 3 and really put some pressure on Tracy Fleury's last rock. So sometimes, especially early in the game around the center line, the pebble's quite fresh because it hasn't been used, especially with the 9-minute practices that both teams get. They utilize the outer part of the sheet because that is the draw path for the draw the button. So you have to be careful when you're throwing a hit around the center line in the first end or two. Sometimes they can grab some fresh pebble and curl, which we saw that one do, but they managed it well enough to hit it on the nose and lie 3. So pressure on here for Tracy Fleury as she has to hit full 8-foot with her last, facing 3 Team Caitlin Jones counters. Same draw as her first, so expect her to be close as she settles into the hack.
Feels there.
This one's hanging out there. They're going to need Kristen to try and curl this one. Is it still on the corner guard, if you could believe that? And it just rubs. They need to drag it to try and out count. Wow. What a great sweep. Heads up line call from Selena Negevin. And I'm not sure what they indicated, whether it was one red or one yellow. But regardless, Team Fleury will be pleased with either outcome, as it looked like it could have been a potential steal of 3. So we will be back in a moment with N2.
If you grow up in a small town in this part of the world, you basically learn how to curl real young. Kids and even adults who didn't have a place to go because so many facilities were closed. So people started gravitating to our rink and coming out and skating, curling. It became a place to come every weekend for so many families. We would see upwards of 70 people coming and going you know, on a given Saturday or Sunday. I think it means a huge amount to so many people. It's an opportunity for friends, family, everybody to get together, have some fun.
Welcome back. It was a steal of one for Team Caitlin Jones. Tracy's draw wicked the guard and didn't quite get in far enough for shot rock, but like I had mentioned earlier, I believe they'd be pretty happy with only giving up a steal of one after that. With that being said, today's sponsor, Sunrise Credit Union, building a brighter future together. We want to thank Sunrise Credit Union and Rocky Mountain Equipment for making this live stream possible. This is the first time that Curl Manitoba has live streamed the women's provincials. And we hope that a lot of you at home watching on YouTube are enjoying your Wednesday and watching a bit of curling. Doesn't get much better as Kristen McCush is trying to place a corner guard.
Guys, get it over. Okay, good sweep.
So Kristen's guard ends up a little bit high. Probably not very usable if you want to just come into the rings. It could be easily accessed with hack or board weight even. So if they want to be aggressive, they may have to throw a second corner guard on that side, stacking the two corner guards to make sure that something is utilized over on that side of the sheet. As Sarah Oliver, lead for Team Jones, tries to put up a center guard, and she has the same issue. It's just a little bit high. So leaving the rock top 8 foot exposed for Kristen to play a hit and roll. Sweepers are working hard on this one to get it by the guard, and they just do. But will it stay in the rings?
Okay, 11-5.
It will.
Good.
And the red rock goes out for good measure. So she threw the appropriate weight to make the shot. Didn't overthrow it, as you can see. Only eliminating the shot stone by a few inches. And keeping her shooter in the rings. So Team Caitlin Jones will look to utilize her center guard by drawing around. This is kind of where you get sometimes suckered into drawing around your center guard when it may be slightly too high, especially on this Greg Owasco ice that curls a tremendous amount, especially late. So you'll see Robin Negavin's going to place a particularly good draw in here. Slightly deep, right on the tee line. But because that guard is so high and there's so much separation, Team Fleury will be able to hack it out and lie too. If that rock was top 8 foot, it may have been good enough to not be able to hack out, but I'm still not so sure. This rock, once again, moving pretty aggressively towards that guard.
Whoa. Roll it on if you can. Yep.
And they'll split it off.
Go. Hard. Okay, that's fine.
So now that rock on the button that Robin placed there is looking pretty good. Team Ackland looking to draw a rock top 8 foot, half exposed, guarding the one on the button. And three members of this, sorry, I said Team Ackland, but I meant Team Jones. Three members of this Jones team played together in juniors and went to a Canadian junior representing Manitoba, Abby Acklin, Sarah Oliver, and Robin Negevin. Caitlin Jones herself has competed for Saskatchewan and Nova Scotia at the national level in juniors, winning a Canadian and World Junior title a few years back, skipping another familiar name, Carly Burgess.
Whoa. No. Whoa. Go ahead, Kristen.
A good draw there by Robin. She's got her draw weight early in the game, which is always important.
Okay, 10-3.
And a hit and roll out
No,
by
I bet
Liz
she was
allows
a
Team
careful, but
Jones
definitely straighter
to
with that
replace that rock, maybe even put it in a slightly better position now that the guard's moved over. Team Jones has competed a fair bit this year. They were in Ottawa for the play-in event for the pre-trials. They've gone to Moose Jaw in Saskatoon, and they've played the local Manitoba Curling Tour as well. Sweeper's going hard to try and get this one to finish up at the end. Great weight from Abby. Pretty close to the perfect spot.
Try to roll
Didn't
under.
quite curl up enough, probably half a rock from being
Bumper.
perfect, but really nice effort nonetheless. And Selena's gonna be asked to throw bumper weight and try and make a hit and flop under.
Whoa. Close. Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Close. Close, Liz. Yep. Yep. Whoa, 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 whoa. Great shot.
A great shot there from Selena. Perfect board weight, nicely called. Those are difficult to call, especially early in the week. This is only game 2 for these teams. Obviously, Team Fleury has lots of experience on arena ice, but to call those board weight hit and rolls perfectly like that is extremely difficult. Abby Ackland here has the same draw. So while that shot was made as good as it could be, it allows Abby to play the same shot and corner freeze the yellow and really shrink the scoring area for Team Fleury. So as a thrower, you always like having the same shot back to back. Gives you a chance to make it again, and unfortunately, just a couple feet light from Abby there.
Fight the 4.
Team Fleury continuing with their ultra aggressive play style. They call a very aggressive game, but they execute and make lots of shots, and so it works for them. Selena's being asked to make a quite difficult draw around 2 staggered rocks that are in the top of the house, but with how much curl we have out here, this shot is made a lot easier because of the late
Can you
finish.
go back 4? Bite the back 4. Needs to curl though. Okay. Okay. Kristen, try. Okay.
So Selena a little heavy.
14.
and it runs straight. If you tuned into the 12:15 broadcast, we saw Team Robertson take on Team Mcdonald, and I had picked up on that side of the sheet. It seems a little bit straighter if you throw back 8-foot weight, back 4-foot weight, which is what Selena probably had. It doesn't seem to catch the curl and can make you look a little silly. I assure you that she wasn't as far off on that throw as the result indicates. It just seems to not curl up quite enough. As Caitlin Jones now attempts to make this draw. She'll end up in the same spot as Abby's last one. So nothing
Pretty good.
has really
It
changed.
should
Team
run
Fleury looks
straight.
like they're going to play an angle tap to lie 2.
There. Got this? I got it. Okay. This little tap. Okay.
Tracy Fleury playing in her,
Okay. So
let me pull this
a
up
little
here,
bit more for the tap.
3rd Provincial
Okay.
Women's Championship. She's originally from Northern Ontario, but has played in Manitoba this past cycle and is competing in her 3rd. She won her first provincial title in Gimli in 2019 and finished 3rd in Rivers in 2020. Tracy trying to promote her rock top 12-foot to the 4-foot circle. And just kind of ran out of steam as it came into the top of the rings. But I don't think Team Jones can access the yellow directly. Depends how much they can see of the rock top 8-foot. Some scores from the first end of the other 2 games out here. We have Team Clark Rier versus Team Walter. They blanked the first end. And Team Shea Bevan scored 1 against Team Christy Watling in the first end. Team Bevan, it looks like, won't have that lead for long, though, as Christy Watling has open hit for 4 in the second end, as Shea just bumps on her freeze attempt. Caitlin Jones now trying to play the short slash. Sweepers are going hard as they get it by the first guard, by the other 2, and a beautiful slash by Caitlin Jones to leave her lying what appears to just be 1. Yeah, as Selena indicates. Second shot is the yellow stone. But a great shot by Caitlin Jones to remove the Team Tracy Fleury rock out of play and lie 1 behind a bunch of guards.
That looks easier to me.
Right on the 4-foot circle,
Yeah.
Christy Watling makes the hit,
9.
sticks around for 4, and is up 4-1
Like a thick
after
tap.
2 ends of play.
Half is close? Okay.
Yeah, so
Does that look close?
Tracy's going to play the
So,
slash. It's risk-free. You can't really hurt yourself. you're already facing 1, and if she plants it there,
Okay, a 9.
she can score 2. Contact is the most important thing. If she hits it and makes contact, scores 1, they can live with that. But a big shot here for the skip out of the East St. Paul Curling Club. They really don't want to go down 2-0 after 2 ends, after starting with hammer. So big shot here for Tracy.
Whoa. Close. Whoa.
And they're working hard to try and curl this one. Beauty. Those are always thinner than you think. And she hit it thin enough. 2 points, Team Fleury, as the thirds are going to look just to make sure. But what a great run back. Phenomenal shot. Turn the tides around. And once we get the indication, we'll go to commercial break. Looks like we're throwing a stick on it, folks. We're going to measure. Someone call in to the show. I will bet any monetary value that it's yellow. But again, I'm waiting on my eyeglasses to show up because I can't really see. So who knows? Anyone out there looking for a little bit of action? Official Dale McEwen is going to be doing the measuring for us. The suspense. All right, we got the red. We're going around to the yellow, and it is indeed yellow. So 2 yellow, and more importantly, I win the bet. We're going to head to commercial break and be back in a moment.
RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.
Action back underway. End number 3. Team Fleury versus Team Jones. Kristen McCush looking to throw a center guard. It's going to slip into the rings. And promptly, Abby Ackland is going to call for the nose hit. Sarah Oliver, a world mixed curling champion. So there's a few world champions on that team, Caitlin Jones and Sarah Oliver. As they're going hard to keep this rock from over curling. And not too bad as she'll hit and roll in.
On the nose. 9-5.
So Kristen really wants to nose this rock because then her shooter will be out of the rings and therefore
Clean.
cannot be taken out
Yep.
with a 5 rock free guard zone.
Yep.
Should hit a hair low and roll in. So we're going to see another takeout here. Well, I looked away for a second and they changed the call on me. So they're throwing a corner guard. We're going to get some rocks in play this end, which is a dream for this commentator. Otherwise, I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to fill up 20 minutes of open hits. So thank you, Team Jones, for throwing a corner guard. And now thank you, Team Fleury, for throwing a center guard. So Team Fleury's center guard overcurls slightly, but kind of chokes off the path around the corner guard for Team Jones. So not a bad result. Abby is going to ask Robin to play hit and roll. So now it's Liz Fife's turn to hit and roll. Team Fleury doesn't want to roll all the way under because it will allow Team Jones to draw around everything, and
Can try, Kristen.
they're playing around the corner, which Team Fleury doesn't want them to do. So they wanted to roll about a foot inside. It looks like they're going to roll a foot outside. Now it'll be interesting what Team Jones does as they elect to draw around. And this is definitely the call. Robin's had her draw weight today, so I would imagine that this will be pretty close to the indicated shot selection of top 8 foot. Sweepers are working hard on this one, and sure enough, couldn't have walked it down and placed it in a better spot, exactly as called. Great sweep from the two sweepers, Sarah Oliver and Caitlin Jones, as they drag that one into the full 4 foot. Selena being asked to follow it down and play a freeze. It's going to come up light.
15-8.
They seem a bit fooled by the way that rock reacted. I'm not entirely sure whether it had a soft pick or if they were just waiting so long on the line that they lost the weight and everything came off at the same time and it overcurled. So Team Fleury a little out of sorts with the draw weight and the draw path so far today, but not the case for Team Jones as they keep lobbing them in there. They figured out the ice right from the start and have been applying pressure every end. So Abby Acklin, chance to draw and lie too. just as I say that Team Jones has it figured out, this one is tracking on them. And we'll just get by the corner guard. And stop at the back of the button. So not bad. They just had to wait a really long time for the rock to curl. Once it did start to curl, it came over quite nicely. But this will leave Selena Negevin an opportunity to freeze on the shot rock, back of the button. Let's see if Selena can make the adjustment from her first or whether it was a soft pick or something strange. So sweepers seem to like it as they're starting to go now as it crosses the far hog line.
Yep, bump it. Yep, go, go, go. Hard, 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 hard. Tap it. Go, 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 go. Good.
And you couldn't place that one too much better. A great shot from Selena Negevin as she freezes and is shot stone right on, just about covering the pinhole. So unfortunately, Abby's first one ended up back button, and they were having to sweep to try and curl it to get it off the corner guard, and by doing that, it also added a little bit of speed. If they didn't have to sweep it, it probably would have stopped top forefoot or top tee line. So it just unfortunately caught in between there. But it looks like they're going to follow this one down with back 4 foot weight to try and unlock the rocks frozen on the button and sit on top of it. So they got Robin sweeping again on the high side to try and curl it. And she did quite the job because now they're sweeping straight. And pretty close to what they had called. They would have liked a few more feet of weight to unlock that back red so they could access the yellow. Now the yellow, it's going to take 2 shots to be able to get that yellow out of there.
Yeah. I don't think so. I think just plug the hole. Yeah,
Team Fleury, knowing that it's going to take 2 shots for Team Jones to be able to get that yellow off the button, is going to make their life difficult by throwing a guard.
Okay, 1.5, mostly for line here though. Okay. Yeah.
Tracy Fleury looking to cap her shot stone with a well-placed guard.
Wait for it. It needs to curl. Needs to curl.
You can see Selena
It's Kristen.
Negevin indicating
It needs to curl.
that she wants it off the center line to try and block
Keep going.
any
Right over.
path
You
that
got
Team
it. Go,
Jones
go,
has
Go, go, go. Hard. Keep
into
going.
the 4
Keep
foot
going.
area.
Hard, hard, hard.
And I'm not
Okay.
quite sure if they got it over enough. There may be a big enough hole to play something. So Team Jones is going to deliberate, and now they'll call a timeout as their coach, Howie Restall, will come out and provide some words of wisdom. right, so after the timeout, it appears that Team Jones is going to play based on that ice. I'm assuming some type of up weight hit. Whether they trying to hit their top one. Or now they're playing the straight peel. So I guess Howie, I'm assuming they talked about two different options, whether Caitlin was able to see any of the rock in the rings or not would determine what shot she would play. If she could see a piece of it, she was going to hit it. She came down to the hack and said she couldn't, so now she's peeling the guard. And this one is curling. Sarah Oliver doing her best to keep it straight. Sneaky. So she ended up running the rock back, clipping the red on the side of the forefoot, and moving, dislodging the yellow from sandwiched in between the two reds on the button. And it looks like is shot stone. So one of those shots that you may not have drawn up, but you'll take. And that happens a lot in curling.
Yeah, it's hard to get it too thin, eh? Even thinner, I think, is... well, we're not hitting much of it, so like a hack, do you think? 'Cause we're only hitting like a little bit of
So
it?
Team Fleury looking at playing an angle tap on their rock top 8 foot, I believe is what they're talking about, just a matter of ice and what weight to play. You could play this shot with various weights. You could play it with just a heavy draw to tap it into the pocket. That's sometimes a little more difficult to get the line correct because it's not very often that you play a heavy draw that the rock is supposed to go through the 8 foot. So very difficult to place the broom. So sometimes on a shot like this, you might play hack or board weight, which I'm assuming is what Team Fleury is playing based on the ice. Now she's given more ice, so maybe more like a backline or hack weight shot. Again, this is another one that it's hard to hit this too thin. And these ones are hard to call because they want to be missing the rock for 90% of the way down. So they'll be calling to sweep without even being on the rock. And another great shot from Tracy Fleury as she hits it a hair thicker than they wanted to, but does move the shot stone over and remains shot herself. So mission accomplished. Another key was that her shooter, which is now in the 12 foot, didn't stay above the tee line, because if that was the case, if it was, say, a couple feet higher and maybe closer to the center circle, you could see Team Caitlin Jones play off of it for 3. So that was another key that the shooter rolled away. Looks like Team Jones is lining up a run back to try and score multiple points. So here we go. Caitlin Jones attempting to run her stone back just a hair high of nose. Try and double off the yellow and score 2, I want to say. You probably are going to lose your back red, but she could prove me wrong and score 3 quite easily. This one's got some curling to do. I don't think it'll come up quite enough. So unfortunate there. Well played end by Team Caitlin Jones, but it is a steal of 1 for Team Tracy Fleury, and they lead the game 3-1 after 3 ends of play.
If you grow up in a small town in this part of the world, you basically learn how to curl real young. Kids and even adults, they didn't have a place to go because so many facilities were closed. So people started gravitating to our rink and coming out and skating, curling. It became a place to come every weekend for so many families. You would see upwards of 70 people coming and going, on a given Saturday or Sunday. I think it means a huge amount to so many people. It's an opportunity for friends, family, everybody to get together, have some fun.
And we are back. Today's sponsor, Rocky Mountain Equipment, Manitoba's preferred Case IH equipment dealer, with 10 locations to serve you. RME, right by you. Back with the 4th end of curling. Give you a few updates on the other sheets. Team Walter has stolen 1 in the 3rd end, so they lead that game 2-0 over Jen Clark-Riere. And Team Bevan bounces back with a single. Team Christy Watling leads 4-2 with Hammer playing the 4th end. As lead Kristen McCush draws to the top of the 4-foot circle. And Abby Ackland asks Sarah Oliver to throw a corner guard. Nicely done there from Sarah. Team Jones is going to be trying hard to get multiple points this end, get back in the game.
Line's good. Needs to curl a bit. Okay, here it goes. Top 12, line's good. Needs to curl a little. Bit of finish. 15-3. I think you're okay. You can go a little.
And Kristen's going to
15-3.
drop that exactly where indicated, just into the 8-foot. I like this call here from Abby. Sometimes teams, when they're trailing, get a little too narrow focused on putting rocks in play and trying to get multiple points. So you might see a team throw another corner guard here, draw around the corner, and then it gets really bogged down in the middle. So this is a good way of making sure the center is open, because it's only a 3-1 lead. It's not panic mode. It's only the 4th end. They can definitely waste a few shots here with some hits and try and open things up, and then potentially utilize that corner guard a little later on in the end.
Clean. Yeah.
This rock is
Hard.
curling quite a bit. They have to be careful of a jam, and they're going to leave it and try and get it over the top. And unfortunately, they end up jamming, which allows Team Jones a free opportunity to draw around that corner guard that they placed up there a few shots ago. As second, Robin Negevin going to try and continue her stellar play with the placement of draws. They want to be careful this doesn't go too deep to set up a double. It looks like it just might have gone deep enough to give Liz Fife a thick half. Close to half a rock for the double peel. Sorry, the double takeout.
Yep. Gotta go.
This one's a little tight early, so Kristen's on it.
Yep.
And she'll hit it on the nose. This rock is really curling as well. And hits and rolls over behind her corner guard.
Do you have any air?
Not the intended shot, but
You have like edge
not the worst of
shag?
results. Now the question is, can Selena see enough of the outside
Okay.
rock to be able to make the double? Looks like she can, so Tracy is going to call for Selena to throw what looks to be about peel weight and try and make the nose double.
Yep. Whoa. Close. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Get out, get out, get out. Nice.
And she gets both of the red rocks to go. Very good shot from Selena there. She's had lots of opportunities to hone her craft. And she just competed in mixed doubles with Reed Carruthers last weekend in Brantford. So I'm sure she was making shots like that to bail Reed out all weekend, from what I hear. Abby Acklin going to try and draw around the corner guard. The corner guard's still in a good position, and the end is there's not really a whole lot going on, so instead of playing the hit, they are electing to use the corner guard that they threw up there and try and generate a multiple score that way. She'll slide just behind the tee line, which will allow Team Fleury the opportunity to freeze down to it. They have to be a bit careful here, though, playing around a corner guard when you don't have hammer. If the freeze isn't executed perfectly or within a tolerance, you
Okay.
could set up Team Jones to score multiple in this one. The sweepers have backed off of it. Needs to catch some curl and die. Needs to grow a pair of teeth, as they say. Kristen's going to just sweep it through.
12-9.
And so there's the potential that could have happened with the freeze. So Abby has a chance to lie two now around a corner guard and really apply some pressure here to Team Fleury. Sweeper's hard on this one as it approaches the guard, and it looks like it might be a little light.
Top four?
So Team Fleury let off the hook a little bit there.
I know. I was thinking there. Top 4.
And with that rock rubbing and rolling towards the center line, it almost acts as a center guard. You can bury around and be quite comfortably in the full 4 foot.
Yeah.
So if Team Fleury puts a good one here, it will bring the play towards the center.
Needs to curl.
Sweepers seem to like it as it's crossing the hog line. Still needs to curl a bit. That's why they have Kristen sweeping the inside. But as we know, with these new rocks in the late finish, it will come over. Good job, Greg. Nice ice you're making. I'm trying to get head ice tech Greg Owasco on the mic, but he keeps dodging me. Anyway, back to the action. Caitlin's gonna attempt to freeze this rock. So again, slightly behind the tee line, which will allow for a freeze to be made and for them to be shot rock. This one's really curling. They're doing their best to keep it straight. Speed's perfect as long as they can hold the line. And unfortunately, it just over curls. So yellow, the Team Fleury stone, remains shot rock.
So
But it is in a peculiar spot. So as Tracy's indicating, if they freeze top 4 foot and lie 2, it seems like a great shot, and it is a great shot. But it leaves Team Caitlin Jones a run back
I don't know that they
double
I guess they can rub
to
that
score
for sure.
3. The angles wouldn't be great for Team Fleury.
Can we guard that? Oh, I guess they got
And we'll
both.
leave that run back.
Then they have this for 2. It's pretty makeable. Well, we could just come here for no, like, yeah. Freeze the nose. And then they're playing this for 2. Let's use our time. Let's talk to Sherry.
And Team Fleury, calls for the timeout. So Coach Sherry Mcdonald will make her way out.
Well, if we're here, this is double. If we're here, it doesn't really, like, it doesn't do much. But they can still probably make this for 2. But then they have the angle. They have 2 angles, right? Yeah. Can we get? Yeah.
My first thought was to come to it and hope we get the good angle.
Yeah.
But what is the good angle? Which one?
Yeah. We can't guard both. Yeah.
No, you can't guard both, but if you're locked on, maybe the shot has to be a little bit more precise.
Yeah.
It's easy for 2. Right. But she's got 2, that's the only issue. So do I know anything that is better?
I think it's just off. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Sherry. Okay. Hers was a 14.9. Yeah. Okay, we just want to make sure we outcount this guy, though, right? Okay. So
So it
we
appears the
were
team has made
here,
a decision
right?
on what
And it
they
took
are
its
going to
time,
throw.
So we probably need to take a little
Sherry
bit
Mcdonald
less.
was,
Okay.
of course, just in Oh boy, I don't even know where the seniors was. Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, for the senior national championship. She was representing Ontario. And now she's here in Manitoba coaching.
Okay. Yep.
I'm assuming Team Fleury is playing the freeze tap, as they had indicated. They need to, like I had mentioned, be careful to not leave this in a spot that allows Team Jones to make a run double for 3. And the fact that they called a timeout and talked about it shows how much respect they have for the opponent. All the teams out here are phenomenal shot makers, and
Needs to curl, Kristen.
they want to
Here
make sure that
goes.
they don't leave them anything. So again, they're waiting on this one to finish. It's coming over now.
Pretty good.
And placed in the perfect spot, as was indicated. They're lying 2. But, there is that but. Can Team Jones eliminate both of those yellows and score multiple points? So Caitlin, they're lining up what looks to be about a 12-foot run back. And if she hits it in the correct spot, the angles are good for Team Jones. And both those yellows will spring, with her reds staying in the house and scoring multiple points. Here comes the last shot of the 4th end from Caitlin Jones. Looks close. Oh, and a great shot there by the skip. Caitlin Jones. Looks like it stayed for 3. 2 for sure. Selena Negevin gonna take a peek, and it is 3 points for red. What a great shot. Shot of the day so far from skip Caitlin Jones.
Curling in the small town part of Manitoba is really big in the winter. It's something for the community to do, and it really brings the community together. We can hold annual events like our Bonspiels and our weekly nights. It's really something to do for everyone in the community. You can do it from any age.
We are back. Team Caitlin Jones takes the lead 4-3 with a run double for a huge 3-end score in the 4th end. Like I had said, probably shot of the day so far. I've been here for all 3 draws. Haven't seen a better one. Really well thrown, really well called for line. They went early. She was maybe a hair snug of what they wanted, so they were sweeping right out of her hand, and sweepers held it just enough to make the shot to perfection. So a phenomenal shot there from Caitlin Jones. We go to the 5th end with Tracy Fleury having the hammer and lead Krista McCush throwing a corner guard.
Sliding good. 15-8. Nice shot,
On
Kristen.
sheet A, we have Team Clark Rier scoring a 3-ender in the 4th end as well. They take a 3-2 lead over Team Megan Walter. And on sheet C, it was Team Christy Watling scoring a single point. So they keep their neck out, have an advantage of 5-2 there. Keep their nose in front, I should say. So that guard ends up a little bit higher than they would have ideally liked, which will allow Team Fleury to chase this one now if they so wish, with back rings, like a Tracy's indicating back line right now, type of weight. They could even throw this harder, I think. Even though it's fully covered, the guard is so high that hack weight, even board, probably would curl enough past the guard to do the trick. But they've elected for back line.
I think you gotta go
And
for
it looks
weight.
pretty good as it comes down the sheet of ice. Sweepers on it coast to coast. Oh, a little spill there from Liz Fife. Does well to avoid the rock. Maybe not so much. I don't know. There's the high guard was moved. We got rocks going everywhere. So with throwing back line, and it appears Kristen was maybe slightly light, back 12-foot weight. She did make contact with the shot rock, but unfortunately did not remove it from play. So Robin Egevan makes a gorgeous hit and roll to lie 2. And Tracy calls the freeze. So because that roll is now behind Team Fleury's corner guard, they are electing to freeze over there and bring the play to the wing.
Lines get close, lines good.
Let's see if the sweepers can stay on their feet this time.
Hard line. You gotta go hard. Hard.
The angle of this freeze is really important. So if it over curls, which it looks like it is going to do, that's actually a pretty good result. So for a plan B, that worked out quite well. They're not shot rock. They're not even second shot rock, I don't believe. But they are buried behind their corner guard, and eventually they may bring that rock into play. Team Caitlin Jones, they had a fundraiser with pierogies at the start of the year, which I love a good pierogi, so that's a pretty neat little fundraiser. I think my parents may have bought a bag or two. Not sure if I have tried them yet, but I'm sure they're delicious.
Do you think you can move that open?
Another good draw there from
Do you like the peel,
Robin.
man?
Overburies the guard. So now it can't be accessed with the in-turn. They'd have to switch to the out-turn to try and hack it out. So instead they've decided to open up the center and play the peel.
Whoa. Clean.
And this is a good call. It's sometimes difficult to switch from offense to defense. But in this case, that center guard just was causing them
Do you like that?
too many problems.
Yeah.
So Abby looking to replace the guard. Hopefully a little bit tighter to the rings this time would be preferred. And she does just that. Replaces the guard in almost the same spot, but 6 feet tighter to the ring. So tight enough now that Team Fleury, instead of the straight peel, is looking to run it back. So Selena's going to try and make this straight back, open things up for her team.
Yep. Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Other way. Good.
And she does just that. With a nice run back, they were hoping to hit it on the high side to not leave a center guard. However, it's still a great shot. She got rid of shot rock that was in the rings, and now it's her guard that can be utilized. Abby's going to play a draw around, and you'll probably see Selena play the same run back, and this time it is with her own rock, so it makes it a little bit easier. Not in the sense that it's any closer to the rings, but the fact that you can stick the run back rock as opposed to having to try and roll it out as well if it was your opponent's stone. And a nice draw in there from Abby. Top 4 foot behind cover.
Think you can get to nose?
May have popped out
Hack.
on the outturn side. So it looks like Selena is going to be asked to chase that one with hack weight.
Yep. Yep.
And sweepers were on this one early.
Yep. Keep going. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yep, yep,
They're
yep.
trying to make something out of it now that they're on the guard, and she will just tick it open and open it up. So not the intended shot, but she does know the way to miss. The tolerance, as Cheryl Bernard would say. She didn't want to miss that wide and leave the center guard and the rocks and the rings. So she was a little bit narrow and opened things up. Now you'll see Team Jones replace that guard, and the decision will be up to Team Tracy Fleury how aggressive they want to be with her skip stones. Going hard to try and get this one to cross the center line, and it won't quite get over, so leaving the red rock even more exposed than it was on the previous shot. Tracy is going to play the same board weight hit and roll.
Okay, bumper. Let's get the flop. Yeah, I'll make sure. Yeah. Whoa.
You're going to have to go on this one again, as it's curling quite early. And it's on the top again. Just a spot in the ice that they haven't quite picked up on. It's swinging quite a lot on that outturn the closer you get to the center line. So Caitlin Jones is going to, I believe, replace her guard maybe try and come a bit tighter to the rings on this one. Really, anywhere out front guarding the shot stone will cause a problem for Tracy Fleury. So they're working hard to finish this one over again. And it is, as they cross the center line. And pretty well, perfectly guard the rock in the forefoot. They do, however, leave the intern draw for Tracy.
This should be inside the pass.
Similar
that,
draw
like,
as she
right?
played against 3 in the first end. So she'll need full forefoot to count 1.
Okay, T-line. So
they're taking, looks like similar ice to what Team Jones was taking. So they could take straight draw to the button ice, which would be into the 12-foot. But that path hasn't been played most of the end. Most of the end was played to cross center line. So they're going to play the familiar path, the path that Team Jones has been playing most of the end. A path that has been swept on a lot and should be good. So Tracy's going to try and cozy this one up
close, Liz.
to the side of the red rock for 1, full forefoot.
T.
Sweepers seem to like it as they're backing off now. And she gets a slight rub and roll to the button for a single point. Great team shot, good communication. 1 point for Team Tracy Fleury. We are all knotted up at 4, heading into the 5th end break.
RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.
Curling in the small town part of Manitoba is really big in the winter. It's something for the community to do, and it really brings the community together. We can hold annual events like our Bonspiels and our weekly nights. It's really something to do for everyone in the community. You can do it from any age.
Why not? Just watch. Why not? Keep scrolling, I slide. Why not?
As a broadcaster and Hall of Fame football player, I'm constantly in the lab of life. For 15 years, my friends at Knott Auto Corp have been pioneers as well.
Why not?
Introducing Winnipeg Car Lab, custom car wraps, graphics, and auto services. Winnipeg, why not get in the lab?
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Can-Ad Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Can-Ad Inn's. Call today at 1-888-33-CAN-AD or visit us right now at canadins.com.
Asham Curling Supplies.
Superior fit, comfort, and performance. Asham curling shoes are the best we've ever used.
Hi folks, I'm Arnold Asham, and our product is always satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
Asham Curling Supplies.
That's your best delivery of the day.
And the locker room celebrations are already underway, and they're gonna be all night long. Here's a team who struggled early on.
Be a player. Bet with Manitoba Sportsbook. Play now sports.
If you grow up in a small town in this part of the world, you basically learn how to curl real young. The kids and even adults, they didn't have a place to go because so many facilities were closed. So people started gravitating to our rink and coming out and skating, curling. It became a place to come every weekend for so many families. We would see upwards of 70 people coming and going, on a given Saturday or Sunday. I think it means a huge amount to so many people. It's an opportunity for friends, family, everybody to get together, have some fun.
RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.
We are back with the second half of action here for draw number 3 at the Manitoba Provincial Scotties Tournament of Hearts, presented by Bear. Team Jones taking on Team Fleury. And I'm Rob Gordon, with you for every shot of it. We want to thank today's sponsor, Sunrise Credit Union, building a brighter future together.
Yep. Bit further. That's good, Kristen. Nice shot.
We saw lots of great shots being made, the first 5 ends. Tracy Fleury in end number 2 made a angle slash for 2 points. In end number 3, an angle tap to secure a steal of 1. And of course, Caitlin Jones with a run double for 3 in the 4th end. And after all that, we are tied up 4-4. Team Jones with the hammer. They have flipped the hammer, as competitive curlers like to say, which means that starting the game, you're at a disadvantage without having hammer, but after the 5th end break, you're now still tied, and you have the hammer, so you flipped it. So good on Team Jones for a strong first 5 ends. And Team Fleury is going to look to apply some pressure and try and flip the hammer back at some point before the end of the game. Sarah Oliver's come around, doesn't quite curl enough. So Kristen's going to play a hit and get a little bit of a flop under towards the center line. Abby's going to try and hit and roll away.
Like that. Bum. Even 11.
We saw this a lot in the 12-15 draw with Darcy Robertson taking on Christy Mcdonald. Once the game was close, tied up, both teams started to play a bit more cautious in the second half of the game. Lots of one guards, a center guard, no corner guards, and hitting and rolling away for the team with hammer, and hitting and rolling towards the center for the team without hammer. So it looks like we'll see much more of the same here.
Finish so hard. That's fine.
Sarah flops. Well, she pretty much noses it.
11-9.
So Tracy's going to try and make that roll underneath, right on the Scotties' hearts. Some updates from the other two games. After 5 ends of play, it is all tied up on sheet A, Team Walter versus Team Clark-Riere. And after 5 ends of play, it is 5-2 lead for Team Watling over Team Bevan. They had blanked the 5th end. Selena working hard to get this one to curl over. Try and stick in the rings. It's important that they stick. And unfortunately it does not, which could allow Team Ackland to peel the guard, I believe, if my math is correct. I think that was this is the 6th rock of the end. So if they so choose, they could have peeled the center guard, keep it open, but they're electing to go around.
Okay, line's good. Okay, hold in, hold in. Okay, running, yeah.
And Robin, who's been dynamite with her draw weight all game,
okay, go then, yep.
is going to slip this one just behind the tee line.
Okay. Right to it, back button.
Not too far off. Sometimes at the 5th end break, the ice crew comes out and they mop the ice. So they take a mop and go up and down each side of the sheet. And sometimes that'll speed up the ice enough to have it run slightly faster and even slightly straighter after the 5th end. So sometimes teams get a little bit caught with that. I don't think that's what happened there. Robin wasn't too far off, a foot or two heavy. But this one, on the other hand, looks a little bit warm.
Oh, here it goes. Close, Kristen. Yep, Kristen.
As it's curling and dying and probably going to end up perfect.
Okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, good.
So a nice shot there by Liz. A little bit heavy for the weight, but the line was good. So she got one of the two right, which is fine for a shot like that.
Okay.
And this rock is fully buried, but because of how much the ice is curling and the guard being slightly higher and the rock being just behind the tee line, there's enough separation that they'll get the curl needed to make the shot with like a backline weight.
Close. Close. Whoa. Curl. Stay close. Stay close. Yeah, go curl. Go curl. Go curl. Go, 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 go,
They
go.
want to hit it thin enough that they don't jam on their one back 8 foot.
Watch roll. Yep, 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 yep. Hard, hard, hard. Hard roll. Go, go, go.
That is a good curling shot. A very good curling shot.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it does give Team Fleury a double back. And the double is made by Selena Negman. She's been throwing those upweight hits really well all season. She run backs, doubles, you name it.
Little left.
And now here comes a aggressive call from Team Jones. There's only one rock in the rings. It's a Team Fleury rock back 8 foot, wide open. So they could hit it if they'd like, but they're electing to draw around the center guard. It's an aggressive call, and I do like aggressive calls, but I'm not so sure about this one.
Okay, Max,
with it being your opponent's center guard and high enough, as we talked about before, that anything around the tee line is easily accessible with backline weight. This has to be in a pretty perfect spot for it to be any good.
Sit. Oh.
14-1.
So with that rock slipping behind
Back 4.
the tee line to the back forefoot, Team Fleury is going to elect to follow it down and freeze. You could play an in-turn hit, but then both yellows will be grouped over on that side of the sheet and probably would give Team Jones a relatively easy double back to keep the blank in play. So Team Fleury is also going to be aggressive here and try and force the issue with a well-placed freeze. Unfortunately, this one is hanging out there and running.
Yeah. I don't think there is that.
So speed might come down enough, but the line is never going to get there.
Team top 4. Yeah.
And that'll leave Team Jones an opportunity to put this rock around top forefoot and lie 2.
Okay. Let's make a good one. Yeah. Just top 4. 2 feet less. Did you get from my kick? Okay. Like 90 seems to be pretty close, eh? Try 90. No, easy, easy.
So sweepers are on this one early. It sounded like Caitlin thought that the line was a little tight. And the speed is also potentially a little light. They're going hard though. Nope, I was wrong. Not light at all. What do I know? So speed was fine. They had to go on it for line because it was a little tight early, and that's why it overcurled and went a little too far. I'm not sure what world I was in that I thought that that was light. Seen too many rocks
I
today.
think it goes under a bit. What? Do you have room? Kristen? Do you have any air? Well, we can throw 9. Get a little bit of curl. Okay.
So Tracy's going to try and make the double here. A nose hit. Sounds like the rocks are edge on edge, so the rock in the rings and the center guard, there's no air between the two. But with how much space there is between the guard and the rings, it'll curl up the inch that they need it to get to the nose or a hair low of it.
Yep. Whoa! 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 Close! Yeah!
They're going hard now as it's starting to curl. And a great double from Tracy Fleury. Doesn't quite remove actually either of them out of the rings as they both jam, but they aren't too concerned right now because there's really no way for Team Jones to remove all 3 of the yellows and bring those 2 into play. So mission accomplished. They make the double, even get a little bit of a roll underneath. Now it's up to Caitlin to try and freeze tap the rock on the button.
Where? Just to it. No tap. Just to it. Yep. No, line's perfect. Yep. Hard. Right to it. Hard.
So the sweepers are on this one now. It looks pretty good. And by pretty good, I mean really good as she taps it back and stays shot rock. That is a very, very good curling shot. To get the line and speed right was important there. If she was wide and rolled off, then it would allow Team Fleury to play a little chap and roll or a freeze in the pocket and would be extremely difficult for Team Jones to score. So the main thing was that she got shot rock after that shot. and didn't undercurl. So phenomenal shot by Caitlin there.
Yeah, so even if we're like half here, that's pretty good.
Team Fleury can freeze one just on the high side of the rock and make it very difficult to score 2. I think both teams would be okay with a force in this situation. Team Jones making their first one, and Team Fleury
Okay, I can't
settling
chip
for a
off,
force
right?
after
But for
maybe
two, it's good. I'm a little in front of it.
having an outside chance to steal. But
yeah, it might be quicker than that. They had a 15.
this shot has to be made
set.
first.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
So just as Caitlin couldn't be wide and heavy on her freeze attempt, same goes for Tracy here.
As far as you can.
And if they're light on this shot, it's not the end of the world.
As far as you can. Yep.
To be honest with you, if they leave it,
Sorry, good speed.
it's in a decent spot. I guess it's probably accessible with the intern, so they did have to get it frozen.
Just through, right? Oh, shit.
So it'd be an intern heavy tap for Team Jones to score 2 here in the 6th end. A skips deuce. This would be pretty. This is a pretty big moment here in the game for Team Jones. And this rock has curled early.
Yeah.
I think it might have grabbed something because the weight came right off of it as well. It's only going to stop as a halfway guard. So unfortunate soft grab there on Caitlin Jones' last rock. They'll be forced to a single and take a 5-4 lead over Team Tracy Fleury after 6 ends of play.
Still got our one. Good first one. Yeah, I was like, the way this is running, this can't be.
RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.
Line's good. Kate, just
Back
top
with
forward.
N7.
KJ first. Hit it a bit.
Single
Hit it a
point
bit,
for Team
KJ.
Caitlin Jones. They'll be a little disappointed
really
with
overcurling
not
again.
being able to capitalize and make
We had
that
13-7, it
last
should be
shot,
fine.
but unfortunately it appeared it had a soft grab, so
Thanks.
those things happen. See how they rebound as Sarah Oliver slips her first one back 8 foot. Sarah Oliver, a very good slow pitch player. Very good. Same with Abby Ackland, actually. Both of them very good slow pitch players. Sarah Oliver's signature move is in the first inning of the game. Most teams bring their infield in when we play in a co-ed league. So most teams bring their infield in or outfield in when a female is batting. Unfortunately, it just happens. And Sarah always tends to hit the ball way over everyone's head and round all the bases for a home run. And we always laugh in the dugout because it happens every single time. So not only is she a good curler, but she's also a very good slow pitch player. I, on the other hand, not a good slow pitch player. 2 years ago, I started the season with back-to-back strikeouts in slow pitch. Maybe it may have been the low of my athletic career. As Sarah replicates her first one and goes back 8 again. And this is a green light special for Team Fleury, as there's really no danger around the middle of the sheet. And they have a free corner guard to draw around.
Line's good. You have room. Needs to curl. Needs to curl. Still needs to curl. Okay. Looks a little deep though. Okay. 14-9. Good shot.
Nicely done there by Kristen. Perfect weight above the tee line. Didn't quite curl enough, so it looks like it's accessible for Robin here to play a hack weight hit and roll. This will curl in there nicely.
Okay, Rob.
So maybe a hair big for hack weight, it kind of looked like. Hair firm, but a good result. Got rid of the pocket in the back of the 8-foot and now has 2 rocks stacked on each other in the back of the 8-foot, which I would say is slightly better.
Line's good. Top 8.
As Liz tries to make the come around. Hopefully this time buried behind the guard. Kristen switches sides to try and curl it.
Little bit of finish.
But it is. It's already curling.
Yep. Okay. Good spot. Nice shot. 15-2.
And a good draw there. It was the main thing was to get shot rock. The main thing was to be behind the corner guard. Shot rock was not as important.
Whoa. Clean. Yep. Clean. Good throw, Rob. Yeah, just up. It would have been really nice if she had good weight.
This one? Yeah, I was going to on yours, but we can now.
So the corner guard peel was made.
Just a hair high.
And it looks like Team Fleury is going to be playing the double at the back of the rings here. This is the same out turn that over-curled on them a few times a couple ends ago, so they're going to work really hard to try and keep this one straight.
Okay.
And they do.
Good.
So a good shot there from Liz. It's hard to tell who is second shot. I think it might be red.
Just 10, hey? We could throw this way. We threw a couple this way.
I think that Abby
just 10.
tells Caitlin where to put the broom with her foot. More teams should do that. Just point your foot.
Just 10. Yeah, just those.
Some updates from the other sheets. In the 6th then, Team Jen Clark-Rier got 2 points. Megan Walter answered back with 3 points in the 7th end. It's 6-5, Walter leading. Team Bevan scored 1 in the 6th end, so it is 5-3. Christy Watling leading that with Hammer playing the 7th end. 1 rock to come, so we should have an update for you there pretty quickly. Good hit and stick there from Abby. They just want to keep these rocks as spread out as possible so Team Fleury doesn't have a double. So that means Team Fleury is going to want these rocks as close as possible. They'll be trying to roll towards the rock in the back 12-foot. This has to curl the stick around. Unfortunately, it will not. So you'll see Team Jones hit the Team Fleury rock in the top of the 12-foot. And for the time being, it looks like the force may be on here in the 7th end.
Might run a tiny bit straighter. So just give it a second out of my hand.
And I'm not entirely sure how many points Team Christy Watling scored in the 7th end, but it is handshakes, so I'm assuming it was a few. Team Watling improves to 2-0, and Team Bevan falls to 0-2 after the first day of competition for this pool, which is the Asham Black pool.
Sit.
A hit made by Abby, and she rolls towards the center, which will make this hit and roll for Selena slightly easier. Doesn't have to go across as much of the house. And a brilliant shot there from Selena. Sometimes those shots seem pretty mundane and, you know, it looks like they're going to be forced. It's just an open hit. But to be able to roll it to that side of the sheet and be shot rock, now it forces Team Jones to make their hit and roll a little bit more difficult, and they can only roll it towards the outside of the rings. So they can't roll it back to the center line. And by doing so, it should leave Team Fleury a double and the potential to get out of the end with a blank. So very important hit and roll there from Selena. Really nice throw. And now let's see what Caitlin's got here. Again, this is that spot that curls. They got to go to not jam it. Sweepers are keeping it straight.
Okay.
But unfortunately, she jams on the rock in the back 8-foot. So an untimely miss there from Caitlin.
9-5.
Now Team Fleury has the opportunity to capitalize. I'm not sure if it's a spot in the ice there, that out turn going away, but
Yeah, we can roll in just a hair.
we've seen a few over curls.
Do this, KJ, sit for shot. Make her do the same thing. Just 10 again, you got it.
Sorry, just had to step out for a moment to answer a question about the end-by-end scoring. So, you know, doing it all around here. As it appears Team Fleury made the hit and stick.
Yep.
Leaving Caitlin Jones a hit back herself.
Good weight.
And she'll roll it out of play. So a deuce, a score of 2 points, kind of out of nowhere for Team Fleury. If Tracy can land this rock anywhere inside that 12-foot circle. And in a closely contested game like this one, the turn of events like that in the last 3 shots could go on to dictate how the remainder of the game is played. But job's not done here yet for Team Fleury. Tracy needs to find the paint. And she makes no mistake as the sweepers guide that one into the tee line. It's a score of 2 for Team Tracy Fleury, and they lead the game 6-5.
14-5. Nice deuce, ladies.
Curling in the small town part of Manitoba is really big in the winter. It's something for the community to do, and it really brings the community together. We can hold annual events like our Bonspiels and our weekly nights. It's really something to do for everyone in the community. You can do it from any age.
Welcome back to the 8th end of the Tracy Fleury versus Caitlin Jones game. Draw number 3 here at the Manitoba Provincial Scotties, presented by Bayer. Today's sponsor, Sunrise Credit Union, building a brighter future together.
Yep, bit further, bit tighter, yep, keep it moving.
A big score of 2 there for Team Fleury, seemingly out of nowhere.
Good, Kristen.
But still 1 down with hammer for Team Jones, so lots of positives, and they'll have to bounce back after that turn of events to kind of give up control. This end will be very important for them.
Okay, wall line right now. Okay, close. Yep. Where? Okay, wall. Line's perfect. Yep. Hard. We gotta go. Go. Hard. Did you? Yeah, I know.
Bite the button.
So a pretty good spot there from lead Sarah Oliver. However, it's only top 12-foot. So with the amount of curl that we have out here, Kristen McCush is being asked to draw around everything to the top 4-foot, using that top 12 rock as a guard almost. And on sheet A, we have Lisa McLeod delivering the last stone for Team Jen Clark-Riere. Draw to the 4-foot for 2. And it looks a little warm. So it's only a single point for Team Clark-Riere, and it's tied 6-6 after 8 ends of play over on sheet A. Nice draw there from Kristen, right to the top of the lid. Sarah's being asked to follow it down. So they're
pretty close. Line's pretty close. But you gotta finish it a bit.
going hard on it for line at first, but now it's kind of hanging out there. So
that's fine.
Sarah will tap it back and roll to the open, which allows Liz to play a bumper weight hit and roll.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Close. Yep. Yep. Hard. Hard. Sit. Good. 11.
And a great shot there from Liz as she makes the hit and roll under cover, pokes out the other side by maybe a quarter rock,
Or what else do you like?
but very good nonetheless.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Just back line.
Those hit and rolls are so important and so tough. 9 times out of 10, you don't make that roll perfect, but when you do, it really changes things and puts momentum in your team's favor. Forces the other team into a more difficult shot as well. So Robin here trying to hack it out. Can only see a piece of it.
Keep it going.
This one is curling.
Hard. Hard, hard, hard. Roll it off, roll it off. Yep, 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 yep. Okay. That's fine.
So she ends up splitting the center guard, which is not bad. They have hammer, remember?
Yeah, you guys like that?
So leaving the front open is okay.
1.5. Even a 2's not bad. 1.5, 2, right in front of that one.
Team Fleury is happy to replace the guard for as long as possible. They don't need to make a move in the rings for a while. So Liz Fife throwing a guard.
Hold it.
Liz Fife, of course, the daughter of Vic Peters.
Okay, line's good. Line's good.
A legend of Manitoba curling.
Sit down.
That guard's a little higher than they would have liked it to be.
Do you think this is there?
So Team Ackland can access their
Like hack?
rock top 12 foot and promote it back into the rings.
Back 12. Okay. Where? Yep. How sweet. Okay, go then. We got to curl if anything, but go for weight then. Yep. Yep. Hard.
So a little less weight than they were anticipating the rock having coming down the sheet of ice, but it's going to work out quite nicely as Robin taps that up for second shot. And that's a really good result.
We're shot. Yeah, we're shot 1. Do you like that?
Tracy's
Guard the middle.
mulling over the options.
Yeah. Okay, are you thinking just high? 1.5? Okay. Yep. If you can, yep, hold it.
And it looks like Selena's been asked to throw a high guard.
Okay, you're heavy.
This one will not be that high as it's sliding pretty good here. So now I think they're trying to tuck it around that top one or even freeze it.
That you can see. Do you think both go? I don't think both go.
Okay.
You don't think so? Dead jam it. Is that terrible though? Yeah. Our shooter probably rolls. You like a 9?
So Abby Ackland, Caitlin Jones lining up
Tolerance
an upweight shot,
is obviously slash because then you're for sure going on.
trying to slash the
yeah.
yellow
Okay.
across the face of the red.
Just watch
Promote it back onto the yellow on the button. And our camera angle can't show it, but there is another yellow rock in the back 8 foot. As we creep down. Oh, there we go.
I think no matter where
So their thought is that
yeah,
if the
no
shot is
matter
made
where you're
correctly,
hitting it, if you get by,
the yellow rock
it's
on the
going right
button
and it's pretty much hitting it like
might
no
drag
face, anything across face.
back and clip the yellow in the back 8 foot.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we shall see. It could be a triple.
9, yeah. Do you guys like peel or you like 9? I think so. No.
I've known Abby for quite some time, and she does love these upweight shots.
Yep. Whoa.
So I would expect her to be close on this one, as the sweepers are on it. And just a hair thick. Really a really good effort. Didn't get the drag to eliminate the one back 8 foot and left the other one top 8 foot, but she has shot rock in the 4 foot. I believe Team Fleury is just going to peel this one out as they are second and third shot. So once this stone is removed, they'll be lying 2. As a sweeper, you always like to hear that clean call on a shot like that. Nervous times for a few feet out of the hand, but great throw by Selena.
Right? I think so. Yeah, I think I like coming this way though, right? Or do you like coming this way? I feel like that way because it's like a okay. Okay. Yeah. I think that's pretty close. Yeah, if we're top, like just.
So now Team Jones is kind of into it. They can't really get out of this end with a blank. Both of those yellows can't be taken out with one shot right now, so they're going to switch to the offensive aggressive call and try and draw around to the top 4 foot. With the outturn the way that they're coming, if they leave it half open, top 4 foot, Team Fleury has to be careful that a hit doesn't jam on the back 8 rock. So it's okay to show your opponent a piece of this stone as long as it's on the outturn side.
Yep. Hard, you got it. Hard, line's good. Hard.
They're scrubbing pretty good.
Hard, Rob, hard.
Just looks like it might be running out of steam.
Rolled off, rolled off.
So that was the last thing they wanted to do, is have those rocks staggered at the top of the house. Now neither of them are usable for Caitlin's first. And if Tracy makes a good draw around to the top 4 foot here, they'll be, Team Jones will be in a bit of trouble.
Full 4. A little short's better than D. High 14? Yeah. Okay. full 4 is perfect, but it's better to be short than heavy.
So Tracy Fleury here, trying to draw one around to the top 4 foot.
Really needs to curl. Sit.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, tapping into back.
They could have made it perfect. Just
What are you throwing?
a slight over sweep. But we're talking 6 inches or less. It was pretty close. Just hung on him slightly and 6 inches heavy. But in a good spot. Forces Caitlin to try and have to chase it. Looks like with sort of a heavy draw kind of weight. Now this is another one of those important shots on your skips first that is almost as important as your last one this end. This shot is very important, and it looks very well done. Sweepers are on it. It's curling now as they get inside. And another great shot by Caitlin Jones on her first rock of the end to get her team out of trouble and maybe have an outside chance at a skips deuce.
She can draw it to this one, eh? Yeah. Try to get it through the hole.
So that was the unfortunate issue with coming slightly deep on Tracy's first, is that it allowed Team Jones to make that tap back and roll under. If Tracy's rock was half in the 4 foot, kind of where Liz's broom is right now,
tough to me.
there wasn't a whole lot of good spots that Caitlin could have played her first one to.
Like off the back of this one? Yeah. For one, yeah.
Well, she can tap ours through here. Well, no. Yeah.
What's that?
That's what I was seeing.
Here?
That or... Make a call, though. Whatever you're seeing, Trace.
Yeah, I think right here. Yeah.
So it appears Team Fleury is gonna play this in-turn draw to try and get top button. If they could get top button, just biting one of those hearts and get shot rock, that would be the ideal location for the placement of the stone. However, if they end up half in the 4 foot, 3/4, full 4 foot, it'll really make the shot for 2 difficult for Team Jones. So the last thing that Tracy wants to be here is heavy back 4 foot, something like that. If she's heavy into the back 4 foot, then Team Jones can simply follow them down and score their 2. So right to the top of the button is the call.
All you.
And sweepers are working hard on this one to try and drag it. Even to the 4 foot would be good. And it'll come up just light. But as I said, it's better than being back 4. Team Jones I believe, can come to their rock top forefoot and still get 2. But it's still a difficult shot. Caitlin's been playing well today, so I imagine that she'd be fairly close with this one. As she releases the final rock here in the 8th end, a draw to the forefoot for 2 points for Team Jones. Sweepers haven't left it yet. They're trying their hardest to drag it. And it carries right to the top. 2 points for Team Jones, a great sweep from the front end. And a great skips deuce by Caitlin Jones. 7-6, Team Jones leads heading into the 9th end of curling.
I love it. Yeah, I know. Good sweep, Rob. Good pound.
RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.
So while the unfortunate jam resulted in a deuce for Team Fleury in the 7th end,
Line's good.
Caitlin Jones redeems herself with a beautiful skips deuce in the 8th end, the all-important 8th end,
Make it good then. Make it good then.
to take a 7-6 lead
I got 14-2.
in
Be close, guys.
draw
Don't leave it.
3
Yep,
action from the Manitoba
You
Scotties
almost
Tournament
were.
of Hearts, presented by Bear. So with that rock of Sarah Oliver's coming into the top forefoot, I'm not sure what they called. I'm assuming they called into the rings. Kristen will have a chance to hit and roll away. Team Fleury likes to play what's called the delayed corner. So if a team draws one into the rings, then they will hit and hopefully roll away out of the forefoot. Then if your opponent hits back, you can then throw a corner guard. Team Jones is not going to hit back. They're going to throw a center guard as they want to bring the play to the center of the rings. Both teams are, we had this same situation
Okay, line's a little
earlier
tighter.
today.
Should be good.
And
Should
we
be
were
good.
posing the question about
Wait
what
only.
position you'd rather be in.
Right here, guys.
So I think both teams are fairly content
Finish.
with
Finish.
how the end's shaping up based on the scoreline.
Yeah, finish. Yeah, finish. I got 16.
Team
You're
Fleury
fine.
definitely wants to
Go, 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 go,
play
go,
a bit
go,
more
go, go, go,
conservative,
go, go,
and if
go,
they
go,
get a
go,
blank,
go, go,
great,
go,
and if
go,
they
go,
get a
go. Ooh.
cheap 2 out of it, that would be great as
Good,
well.
Sarah.
And same thing can be said for Team Jones. They want either a force, or I would assume they'd be okay with a blank as well, taking the lead over the #1 ranked team into the final end.
Okay, lots of line. Needs to curl. Okay, there's a lot of line. Still needs to curl. Sit down. Sit down. And if you can finish it, but I don't think you can. Okay, sit down.
So Kristen's corner guard is going to just stay outside the rings, which is important because it does not allow Team Jones the opportunity to play the hit. They are now electing to play a draw around their center guard. So we have a couple guards out front, both very tight to the rings. Should make for an interesting end, maybe some run backs. I assure you the fans at the Carberry Plains Community Center are all on the edge of their seats watching this riveting action.
Okay, whoa, whoa, whoa.
The game over on sheet A.
Yeah.
As I try and load up my laptop here.
Yep.
It's coming down to the last few rocks. Tied up 6-6. Team Walter with a hammer. But a slew of guards out front that Team Clark Riere can utilize, and also a Clark Riere stone top 4 foot. So both games are tightening up here in the latter stages.
Room. Lots of room. Line's good. Line's good. Okay, not too deep, guys. Not too deep. Oh, needs to sit. Sit down. Okay, good. Team 2.
So good come around from Liz.
That or this?
Slightly deeper perhaps than they wanted it, but in a good spot.
I don't mind this.
So now Team Jones has two options. They could be aggressive and play a freeze. They do have 2 center guards, and that rock of Liz Fife's just on the tee line. Or they could play the more defensive call, which is the one that they're going with, and they're playing a run back. So here comes Robin Egeman trying to make some yellow rocks disappear.
Whoa. Close. Yup. Hard.
She looks very close. Got the one, got the second one.
Clip that one.
A great run back from Robin. And there is a lot of red rocks out in front of the rings right now.
Top 4.
But there is the yellow stone, counting shot rock, right on the side of the button, and Liz is being asked to come right down on top of it.
Close. Line's good. All you. Yep, hard line. Hard line. Yep, hard. You gotta go. Go. Hard. Yep. Okay, that's good. That's sweet. 15-8.
And they just scrape the guard as that rock was coming to rest.
Okay.
However, it does spill into the ring, so Team Fleury lying 2 shot rocks.
Let's go 9, you think? Out here for 9, yeah, where are we hitting? We're hitting like half, 3/4. Okay.
Abby
I like
lining
that
up
with
the
9 by
double
10s, we're okay.
with that rock,
Yeah.
whiskering the guard and spilling open. It is fully open for Abby Ackland to make the nose hit
We're going across.
double,
So we're
or
holding our shooter here.
hit it about 3/4 high
It just might
and
be
make the
easier
double
than
across the
something.
face. So there's 2 options. I think they're calling for that hit on the high side.
Yep. Hard. Yep.
Yes, whoa, and there you go. Beautiful double from Abby Ackland. Gets rid of both shot rocks of Team Fleury's. The only thing with making it that way, which was the easier way of making it, I don't even know if the nose was there, to be honest with you. You'd have to be really close to the guard. But now it does open up the same draw path for Selena to try and replace that rock that was in the 4 foot.
Okay, wait if you can. You have lots of line.
Unfortunately, this one is
Liz, just
wide and heavy, so they are looking at plan B of trying to wick off the wide guard and roll in. Liz is going hard on it. They will get a touch, but not quite enough to slow it down. It does sit in the back 12 foot.
I like this. Yeah, I like that.
Which allows Team Jones the opportunity now to draw around to the top of the forefoot.
Yeah, still same.
A good try at a plan B there for Team Fleury. They communicated that it was heavy and Tracy knew the line was wide, so they got on it to try and make something out of the shot. Unfortunately,
Like a 90 for my kick.
didn't quite
Let's
end
make it
up
good.
with a great result. So now to apply quite a bit of pressure here. Team Jones drawing around.
Line's okay. Yep. Well done. Whoa, whoa. No, line's good. Rob.
This one has a bit of curling to do as well. You can see Robin really working hard to try and get it over. And she'll do just enough to get it
Jeez.
down to the back one.
Sorry.
So a couple misses back to back from the thirds. But Selena does have another chance to redeem herself here, throwing the same draw.
Okay, line's good. Okay, it's hanging. It needs to curl. It's really hanging.
This has a lot of curling to do as well.
It's trying. Still needs to curl. Still needs to curl. Yeah, you're gonna have to finish it, Kristen. Yep. Yep. Go hard. 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 Good sweep. Nice shot.
A great shot from Selena.
15.
Perfect draw weight.
I think
Didn't
I just,
quite
bumped
get it fully
KJ.
covered,
11 even.
but left it in a pretty good spot.
I like
This
bump.
intern going away is it's a little tricky. It hangs for quite a while and then really finishes at the end. So the teams have been struggling to navigate exactly when the break point is. But that was a really good effort. That was a good throw by Selena. Ends up in a good spot. Now Caitlin trying to hack it out with a little hit and roll.
Whoa, whoa. Okay, yep. Whoa, whoa. Close, yep. Yes.
This rock's going now. Sarah Oliver hard on the sweep.
Hard. Really hard. Go, go, go.
And they just rub
Sorry, I should have trusted your.
the guard. So she couldn't save that one for the skipper. Now Tracy's going to try and draw around top 8 foot. Leave both of them sort of half open. Christmas tree, as some people like to call it.
Okay, fully, like half around.
A lot of swings in this game. Back and forth, the momentum has gone from Team Jones to Team Fleury. It's made for some exciting curling. Sweepers seem to think that this one is running a little hot as well. They're going to have to do something with it to not leave them grouped together for a double.
This way.
And unfortunately, it appears that that stopped in a spot where Caitlin Jones will have a nose hit double
What do you like?
to then force Team Fleury to a single point. If they so choose. I've seen some teams hit and roll out and give up a steal to be 2 down with hammer coming home. I know on the men's side that's happened in the past. Team Cooey, Team Mowat. I don't think that Team Fleury would do that, but they could prove me wrong. First, Caitlin Jones, nose hit double. Sweepers are off and on it, now curling it. And she makes them both go away. A beautiful double takeout from Caitlin Jones. So here comes the big question. And while we wait for Team Fleury's decision, on sheet A, we have Megan Walter drawing to the forefoot for the win.
Hair high, eh? Yeah.
In a tied-up game against Jen Clark-Rier. Sweepers have cleaned it right to the tee line for a score of 1. So Megan Walter defeats Jen Clark-Rier 7-6 and picks up her first win. So Tracy, I'm assuming, is going to play a softer weight hit to try and score her single point here in the 9th end.
Yep. Whoa, easy, easy, easy. Whoa! No! Kristen!
And this one's definitely got some curling to do as it approaches the guards. Kristen McCush trying to curl it over. And unfortunately it will not, so it will be a steal of 1 for Team Jones. And they'll take an 8-6 lead heading into the 10th end. Team Fleury with hammer.
If you grow up in a small town in this part of the world, you basically learn how to curl real young. Kids and even adults who didn't have a place to go because so many facilities were closed. So people started gravitating to our rink and coming out and skating, curling. It became a place to come every weekend for so many families. We would see upwards of 70 people coming and going, on a given Saturday or Sunday. I think it means a huge amount to so many people. It's an opportunity for friends, family, everybody to get together, have some fun.
Six on Team Tracy Fleury, the #1 seed at the Manitoba Provincial Scotties Tournament of Hearts presented by Bayer. Team Jones in a great spot, up 2 points.
Easy, easy, easy.
On, like I had mentioned, the top seed. This would be a huge win for Team Jones if they can put 8 rocks together here in the 10th end. Team Fleury is going to be going hard for a deuce to tie the game, if not 3 or more. So we should have an exciting finish here as lead Kristen McCush throws a corner guard.
Line's good, really moving. Yep, bit tighter, you gotta go. As far as you can. Yep, gotta go. Hard. You can see.
So again, that intern spot last end with the draw was giving lots of people issues, and Tracy on her first one a little bit heavy and hung out there for the line, and unfortunately gave Caitlin a nose hit double, which she made as she has been all game. And again, the momentum swings into Team Jones's favor.
Lead only, right here, guys, to my broom. Yep, yeah, little. Okay, whoa, it's really diving. That's fine, good pair.
Do you like this side or do you like here? Okay, halfway.
So Kristen's first guard is a little bit high, but usable. So they've elected to throw a guard on the opposite side now.
Halfway.
Try and make them somewhat even so there's no double peel.
Yeah, it looks a little
Then I'd
light.
imagine you'd see Team Jones plug up the center with a tight center guard.
That's a good
Sarah
spot.
Oliver put her 2 rocks in
Good shot, Kristen.
pretty good spots. And a good guard there from Kristen.
Yeah, hard line. Okay, line's good, line's good. Okay. Finish it a bit. Yep.
So they want this guard tight because they have that 2-point advantage. They don't want to be having to play around high guards and leave things in place. So it's a perfect shot there from Robin. Now Liz Fife will be asked to run back that guard and try and open up the center line. So this is the sequence of shots that we see a lot with the 5-rock rule. 2 corner guards, 3 shots up the middle, and then a run back from the team second who has hammer. Trying to make some stuff move around in the rings and trying to keep her shooter around is the most important thing. And she executes that perfectly. So she's opened up the center. She's left a 3rd guard, which is important. And now they have Team Ackland thinking. So because there's 3 guards, and none of them can really be double peeled, Abby, sorry, not Team Ackland, Team Jones, but the skip who's calling the game right now, Abby is thinking that maybe we should just go aggressive. Maybe we should just draw one around. And they've called a timeout to discuss it further because this is a big moment in the end. So Howie Restall is going to come down and speak with the team.
I don't really want to get rid of this.
And see what they come up with. The aggressive call or the defensive call.
Oh, you think that we throw up a guard? No, that's what I was saying. I was like, I don't know if we just peel these. Yes. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think I like a guard out of hitting. I think so. If we need to switch gears on mine, we can. Everybody's on guard for a guard. I think so. Yeah. Okay. I still think that we come this way. Or do you want to come the other way? Well, we got to cross center a bit, so.
So it looks like after that timeout that they've gone with neither of the 2 options that I was discussing earlier. It looks like they're playing a center guard, I believe. So quite aggressive. They're kind of reserving themselves to be sort of into the thick of it now with the way that this end's going to go. They got to make quite a few perfect guards, which they for sure are capable of. But as soon as one over curls or is slightly higher than they want,
good, Rob. That's fine.
Team Fleury could access the rock in the 4-foot and tap it back, just like they are indicating they might do. So now the situation is we have 4 guards out front, which only plays into the hand of the team that's trailing by 2. So I'm not sure I love that call, but it is certainly a call. And this one still has to be made as it's curling off the center line now. Kristen McCush going hard to try and hold it. And it just rubs. Taps the rock into the rings, though, behind the corner guard.
No? I think you have all of that one. That or we draw.
And it appears that yellow is second shot.
Yeah, I think it's a little hard with that guard, but. Okay. I think about here's close.
So for Abby Ackland's first rock, looks like they're playing the come around.
You like this? I didn't hate the hit, but KJ said no.
The center guard.
Okay. then let's do this. Let's make it good. Top 4. Yeah.
So Abby trying to place this one top 4 foot.
Whoa!
Sweepers seem to like it. Line looks pretty good.
No then.
They're calling it a little bit heavy now, but it seems to be dying as it enters the rings.
Oh my goodness.
And a pretty nice draw there from Abby Acklin. It does peek open on the intern side. Almost fully open.
Weight looks good to get to nose to make the double.
So Selena might be able to get to nose to make the double. She'll have to throw
Between these two?
probably control weight.
Like a rock. Oh.
Peel. I thought I heard her call from the far end of this sheet.
Close, but I think
So
we
she
wanna
might be able
make
to see
sure
more
we
than
get
I
the
can think.
double.
Than I think she can.
9-5. Okay, so 9. Okay.
So this is a big shot coming up here for Selena. If she can make this double and roll her shooter behind the 2 corner guards in that 8-foot area, things are setting up fairly nicely for Team Fleury.
Yep.
But this shot has to be made, and they're on it early out of her hand.
Whoa, whoa.
Off of it now as it needs to curl past the guard. And a great shot there from Selena Negevin. Doesn't get the roll, but the main thing was to make the double, which she accomplished. So Team Fleury is now lying 2.
Get here, more.
You can hear a pin drop in here, folks. The tension is an all-time high.
Whoa. Whoa. Lean. Yep.
Sarah Oliver going hard on this one as it's already on the front. They may get fortunate and clip they don't. So Team Fleury will be able to lie 3 after this shot if Selena can execute it the way that they want. Now the issue here is that they don't want to group 2 of them and leave Caitlin
Okay, I like
a makeable
it.
double.
So almost 8 foot. Okay.
So it looks like the call is to go just bite the top 8 foot and out count the red rock that is in the 12 foot there, but not come too deep so as to leave Caitlin Jones a double.
Yep. Yep. Okay, well then close.
So might need to
all you.
pull an audible on this one,
Okay.
as they are calling T-line weight now.
Yep.
They might have to try and make a split.
Yep. Keep going. Keep going. Yep. Keep going. Keep going. Okay.
And unfortunately, they were just in between, they were a little bit too heavy for the indicated shot, so they tried to make a split out of it. And unfortunately didn't quite have enough weight for that shot. So they have grouped those 2 together. Caitlin will have kind of a half rock double, or even thinner. Half to a third will make the double. So they're on this one. It looks pretty good. She could be kind of anywhere in that crotch, which she is. So a nice double there from Caitlin. Some tense moments for sure.
Yeah.
If Tracy can make a good enough flop underneath those 2 guards here. She can get low of this red rock. I think the yellow on the left of our screen, that second shot right now, is quite open, so Caitlin would probably just peel that one out and it would be a 2 anyway. But nevertheless, Tracy will try and make this one as good as she can. Force Caitlin to have to throw a hit against 2 Team Fleury counters on her last. This one's taking a while to get off that center line as Liz is working it hard to try and bring it over. And it's a good shot. So she makes the hit, rolls away, and now it allows Team Jones the opportunity to try and hit and roll under those 2 guards, those 2 kind of staggered guards out front, and remain for shot rock. So if she can do that, then it's going to be a difficult score of 2 for Team Fleury. As the final rock for Team Caitlin Jones comes down the ice, a hit and roll. Off and on, and she hits and flops underneath. A very good shot by Caitlin. If you can pan up my sophisticated cameraman to show the 2 guards out front that she's rolled under, there we go, perfect. So she made that hit and roll as good as she could. Is now shot rock and has forced Tracy Fleury to play an in-off for 2. Quite thin, 1/4 to 1/8 of a rock should do the trick. So Tracy Fleury, the crowd's filling up. All the competitors are waiting on the side because we have our opening ceremonies coming up after. So we got a packed house here in Carberry, and a big shot for the #1 seed on the brink of losing their first game. Tracy Fleury, 1/4 rock in-off for the tie. They're going early. And it appears it's curled too much. So it'll be, well, it rolled in for shot. So it'll actually be a score of 1 for Team Fleury, but not enough as they lose to Team Caitlin Jones 8-7 in draw 3 action. Thanks for joining us today on the Curl Manitoba live stream. We will be on again tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. local.
If you grow up in a small town in this part of the world, you basically learn how to curl real young. Kids and even adults who didn't have a place to go because so many facilities were closed. So people started gravitating to our rink and coming out and skating, curling. It became a place to come every weekend for so many families. We would see upwards of 70 people coming and going, on a given Saturday or Sunday. I think it means a huge amount to so many people. It's an opportunity for friends, family, everybody to get together, have some fun.
RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.